What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you guys tuning in for another video. Happy July 4th. I hope you're out celebrating America, or you did anyway, and got out and enjoyed this great country. That's what it's all about. So, with that, it is the month of July, so it's time to talk about some baits to use for the month of July. We're a few days late, but hopefully you guys forgive us on this one. If you guys are new to the channel, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. We're really trying to grow the channel. We're pumping out 3 videos a week right now, and I feel like it's all good bass fishing content to help you guys learn more, become better fishermen. That's the goal of my channel. I want to help you guys catch more bass, so make sure you're hitting the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any future videos. But like I said, today we're talking about the top baits for July bass fishing. July can be pretty tough, and man, it's they've been pressured pretty good. So majority of the country, they've spawned in April, May, so they've kind of been out in their deeper haunts for a few months, and a lot of guys have found them, a lot of guys have fished for them, a lot of guys have caught them. So you kind of got to get a little bit tricky on them, and we'll give you a few options to try here for the month of July. So let's jump in and talk some baits. Okay, so like I mentioned, once those bass spawn, weather's getting hot, we're in the dog days of summer here, they're heading out deep. They're getting either in a brush pile, on a ledge where there's a little bit of current, a little bit cooler water. So they get ganged up out there in those easily accessible locations. And, with the electronics, the technology nowadays, a lot of people are finding those fish and fishing for them. So they're seeing a lot of different baits, a lot of different techniques, a lot of worms, basically. This is worm season where you're wanting to throw a big worm. And really that's going to be my first choice, but we're kind of switching things up and rigging him a little different. But, my worm of choice is this guy right here. So this is the Yamamoto Ichi worm, 10-inch Ichi worm. It's a big piece of plastic. It's very buoyant, so it floats, has some very great action, and it's got this big ribbon tail on the back. So, full of action, swims perfectly. And, I really like this big bodied worm on here because we're rigging him a little bit different. So instead of throwing him on a Texas rig where you got the weight up front, we're rigging him up on a core tackle Ozark rig. So this is the 3/8 with a 5/0 hook. So it's a pretty big Ozark rig, but as you can see, it brings all that weight down to the bottom of the worm, or I guess in line with the worm. So this is going to fall a little bit different. It's very weedless, so it comes through brush piles, timber very well, and it's a different approach. So you can take the same bait that you would throw on a Texas rig and rig it up on this Ozark rig, and it gives it a totally different action, and you're going to catch more fish that have seen this bait, that are highly pressured. You're going to catch more on this Ozark rig. So rigging them is a little bit different. Typically you would go through the nose like this, but with the Ozark rig, you go straight through the side and just straight through the bait like that. Okay? Basically, you're just nose hooking them like that. Now, you're going to slide him all the way up over the worm and then turn him around just like that. And basically you like to leave the eye of the hook poking back through that side. And now you're just going to rig him like you normally would your Texas rig. Just take him, run him through, skin hook him on the other side like that. And now, like I said, that's got all that weight down here now. So one, he falls more horizontal, kind of shimmies on the fall, gives it a different fall rather than just a straight head first fall. And then he just comes through cover so much differently than your standard Texas rig that right there will catch you some highly pressured bass right there. So that is bait number 1 for the month of July. So I like throwing it on fairly heavy line. You know, I'm gonna go minimum 17 pound Seaguar Invisex fluorocarbon, maybe even up to 20 pound Tatsu, just kind of depending on the clarity of the water and the cover that you're fishing. You know, if you're fishing fairly clear water, you could probably get away with 15 pound, but generally speaking, those fish that are out deep like that, they're not gonna be very line shy if they're eating a big 10-inch worm like this. So you might as well throw that heavier 17 or 20 pound line right there. But that right there, that is number one choice. I'm throwing them on a 7'3" heavy right here. Like I said, I got 17 pound line, and I like a fairly fast reel. So I got an 8.1 gear ratio reel, and you want to be able to pick up that line if a fish bites it and starts running at you. But that right there, excellent choice. Now, I didn't even mention the color. For me, in the summertime, there is one color of worm to throw, and that is plum candy. Something about that reddish purple that bass absolutely can't stand in the summertime. So that's it. That's my color choices. That, you know, I keep it very simple. You throw plum candy or you throw plum candy. It's quite simple. All right, moving on. Now this is kind of with the same approach as those pressured fish. It's always, this is something really, I mean, this is a no-brainer. You shouldn't even have to say throw a drop shot because it catches them all year, but that's exactly what we got here. This is my second choice for the month of July is a drop shot. Now, I got 12 pound Seaguar Tatsu here for my leader. We got a Trocar TK 180. This is the 2/0 size because we got a little bit bigger bait here. And then we got an Epic Tungsten drop shot weight, and I'll adjust the size based on the depth I'm fishing. Right here I got a 3/16, you know, I'll go up to a 1/4, 3/8, depending on how deep we're fishing. But again, this is the star of the show. Guess what color? Plum candy. This is the Yamamoto Sensei Worm. So this is a straight tail worm, doesn't have a whole lot of action, but the cool thing about this is it is neutrally buoyant. So it has a little bit of salt where it is gonna stand up perfectly natural in that water. It's not gonna wanna sink, it's not gonna wanna float, it's gonna stand up perfectly sideways, horizontal on your drop shot rig, and it's just full of action in the water. You know, it's so lifelike, very soft, but durable at the same time. You know, it's really a special bait right there. You know, it looks like a do-nothing bait, but it has so much action and it flat catches bass. So again, the drop shot is a no-brainer all times of the year, but in the summer, you can't go wrong with that. That's set up right there. So again, I'm fishing this around those drop-offs, those brush piles, that type of stuff. You know, areas where I know there's fish and I just need to trick a few of them into biting. They're gonna eat the Sensei Worm right there. So, all right, last up, this is gonna be for my night fishermen. You know, this is something that starts getting real popular in the summer months, and that's just the good old black spinnerbait. You know, man, you can take this bait and fish it around some shallow points, shallow grass at nighttime and catch a ton of bass. So good old black spinnerbait with a single Colorado blade on it. It's just thumper. It puts out a lot of action, a lot of vibration. Those fish can find it, feel it at night, and they will absolutely thump this thing in the middle of the night. And it can be a lot of fun. So this is something I want to get into more of, you know. So if you guys have any night fishing tips, make sure to leave them in the comments below. But this is something that I don't have a whole lot of experience doing, but I know it's really popular around here on Chickamauga and Watts Bar. The guys really catch some big bags night fishing. So that's something that I want to spend some more time doing. So drop some tips in the comments down below. But hard to beat the black spinnerbait, the month of July, summertime. Get yourself out there right at dark, a little bit after dark. Try throwing around the black spinnerbait, and I think you'll catch a few. You'd be surprised how well the bass can see at night. and something about that black thumping spinnerbait that they absolutely love. So appreciate you guys tuning in for this video. Hopefully you guys learned something. Like I said, hopefully you had a great 4th of July, and hopefully you're out on the water spending some time with family this weekend and enjoying this great country we live in. So appreciate you guys as always. Check the links in the description down below. Don't forget, hit that subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys next time.